Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today we are talking about what happens after your first gay date. Or once you've met someone and you've gone on a date with them, what do you do next? There can be a lot of different possibilities and options and choices depending on where you are in life, the impression that you made with this person, what this person's impression on you was. Like, what did you come away thinking about this person? So we're going to get into everything. I think the very first thing that you absolutely have to do after a first date is take a breath. There is so much pressure to be this perfect little person on a first date and to be funny and to ask questions and to listen and to make eye contact and to wear the right thing and to have the right makeup on or whatever you do. It's stressful. So just take a breath and be like, you know what? It is what it is. Might have been good, might have been bad. We'll deal with it in a bit. But take that time to just to give yourself that breath and to go, okay. Second, you need to ask yourself how the date went. Are you interested in this person more? Are you less interested? Do they look nothing like their photo? There are a lot of questions that you can answer about, is this person interesting? Are they super boring? Are they completely conceited and narcissistic and they only talked about themselves, and anytime you tried to talk about something about you, they changed the subject and made themselves the center of it? Yikes. Really analyze how the date went. Try not to sugarcoat it. Try not to get enamored, if they looked better in person than in their photos, if they had a really funny story, if they talked about how they love going to Japan every weekend or whatever. Don't fall for someone on the first date. You can be interested. You can think like, oh, this person is someone I'd like to get to know more. But do not fall for them. Do not express that you love them on the first date. Don't text them as soon as you get back from your first date and be like, oh my God, I feel so close and connected to you. Like, I can't wait to hang out again. Don't do that. That is way too intense. And I don't care if you had the best date on the planet and, you talked about how many kids you were going to have. Don't suffocate them. That is the quickest way to kill a future relationship. Take some time. They are a human being. They age just as quickly as you age. So there is no rush and no need to jump into something an hour after you get back from your first date. I might message the person and say, hey, just letting you know I got home safe. Thanks for a good date. That's it. I don't make plans for another date. I don't do any of that. I think in this world, we are way too neurotic and we're way too fast paced, and it's not attractive. Like, I'm sorry, it's just not. Take your time. Respect who you are as a person. You have plans. You have important things to do. They probably do as well. Make a plan later on, okay? I promise you it works way better than trying to desperately beg for a second date or to express that, you really feel like such a strong connection with this person. It's one date. It's not marriage. It's not getting a dog together and moving across the country. It's just the first date. Take it slow. Rome was not built in a day. Neither is a good relationship. So just breathe, just relax. Unfortunately, if the date was bad, if the person was not the vibe, they didn't look like you thought they did in the photos, if they were really conceited or narcissistic or, aggressive with your waitress or whatever it was, if there was just a reason that you do not see anything going forward, please, and this is hard, this is really hard, but please send them a message that you think that you and this person are very different people. It was a pleasure to meet them, but you'd like to move on. You'd like to go different ways. Letting down someone in a polite way should be taught in schools, Do not leave this person thinking that you are as interested in them as they are in you. Do not leave this person thinking, oh my God, this date was just amazing. I can't wait. Do not let this person go home and tell their friends and family that they have a boyfriend that's coming home with them on Thanksgiving. Let this person down in a polite way. You don't have to be a jerk. You can point out maybe something that makes you guys incompatible. You can say, I had a really interesting conversation with you. It was really nice to get to know you, but I just don't think we're compatible. I hope you have a great day. There is nothing wrong in politely letting someone down. Sure, it might hurt their feelings, but what hurts their feelings even more is if you string them along for 2 weeks, or if you're just trying to be polite and trying to be nice, but you have no intention of seeing them again. Just please, and trust me, you will be surprised at how good most people take this kind of rejection. Politely say that you enjoyed the conversation, you enjoyed the dinner, you enjoyed the date, but you don't think that you two are compatible and you'd like to go your separate ways. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Some people will have like a neurotic reaction. They'll be like, I can't believe it, you're just a monster, blah, 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 blah. In that case, you dodged a bullet. In that case, you're glad that you're not on another date with this person. If they react really poorly to you politely saying, I'm sorry, I don't think we're compatible, you dodged a bullet and you shouldn't have been on a date with them in the first place, and that is fine. If they just respond with, thank you, I appreciate it, that's it. End the conversation there. Let them have the last word and move on with your life. It's really not that difficult. That is probably the most important piece of advice in this video, is just please, if you have a bad first date or a bad second date or a bad third date where you realize that you're not compatible with this person, please just tell them. I think enough of us have been strung along by somebody who just didn't want to hurt our feelings and ended up hurting our feelings a lot, like really bad. So as soon as you know this is not the one, it's time to move on. And it's time to just politely say, I'm sorry, we're not compatible. I hope you have a great time. All the best. No hard feelings. The crazy ones won't handle that rejection well, but you don't want to deal with them when you string them along and then you eventually reject them because you're not compatible. That's really bad. That's even worse. So just let them off nicely. Be polite. Don't be mean. Don't point out some weird thing about them or anything like that. Just tell them you don't think you're compatible and move on. Easy. The next piece of advice is for a date that you go on and you really don't know about the person. You go on this date, you meet them, maybe they're super quiet and reserved, maybe they allude to, a shady past or a crazy family life. And you leave the date thinking like, do I like this person? I don't know. Am I curious? In these situations, you might want to just go on a second date, eventually plan to hang out at a later date and see where things go. It might be good to talk to somebody, like a close friend, if you're somebody who always talks to their mom after your date, ask your mom what she thinks of the situation, try and describe it in good detail. But every now and then you will go on a first date and you'll kind of go, how do I feel about this person? I don't know. And it's confusing. It's really weird because typically, I don't know, if you're like me, typically you meet somebody and within the first 5 minutes, if you're interested in them or not. But sometimes you genuinely don't have that. Sometimes you get these weird interactions where you're just unsure. And I honestly think only time will tell. Talk to a friend, talk to a bestie, talk to your mom, talk to whoever you need to talk to. But try and get a second opinion of, who this person is. And if you're still confused, second date, give it a try. You never know. I've heard from a lot of people that their long-term relationships, they went on the first date and the first date was really, really bad, like really, really bad. And they, went their separate ways for a few weeks or a month or a year or a few years. And they go on a second date with this person and they're like, you know what? This person's totally different. And by the third date, these people are in a relationship, which I think is very fast. but if it works for you, who am I to tell you what to do? So never discount like a bad first date after a while. You know, if you meet this person later on and they worked on themselves and they fixed who they are, and you know they worked and put in the effort, and suddenly you're like, man, this person's crazy, like I'm kind of into this. Awesome. You know, you never have to completely pull someone off the table if you don't want to. And I think that's a good piece of advice to end on. So thank you for listening. I could tell you a lot about some of my first date stories. Maybe if you guys are interested, I'd be happy to do some story times of first dates I went on, because some of them are wild. And thank you for listening. Let me know about your crazy first dates or your advice for someone who's just gone on a first date and what they should do, what they should think about. And please don't text the person a whole bunch after the first date. You know, the vibes might be great, but a hot fire burns out quickly. And so just remember that. That's my advice. Maybe people down below have better advice than I do. Only looking down there will tell you. Leave a comment, let me know what you think, and thank you for listening. As always, I hope you're having an amazing day, week, month, year, century, millennium, whatever you're having. I hope it's amazing. And as always, guys, I will talk to you tomorrow.